The routine status ping from Avalon 7 never came. Captain Taiwan Parks sat alone in his command room aboard the scout vessel Pathfinder, staring at the silent communication terminal. The red indicator light blinked steadily, signaling the fourth failed attempt to reach the colony. Avalon 7 was humanity's pride, a terraformed paradise 40 light-years from Earth, home to 3 million settlers building a new future for mankind. "Try once more," Taiwan said, as Lieutenant Ju Kim entered the room with fresh analysis reports. Ju shook her head. "Still nothing, sir. We've tried all emergency channels. The colony has gone completely silent." Taiwan stood and moved to the observation window. His reflection showed a face marked by concern, dark eyes focused on the distant stars. "Prepare the ship for immediate departure. We need to investigate personally." The Pathfinder was a small vessel, but its hyperdrive was state-of-the-art. Within hours, they had left Earth's defense perimeter behind, accelerating toward the distant colony. The journey would take 8 days, 8 days of growing dread. On the 6th day, Ensign Doyen Choi detected something unusual. "Captain, I'm picking up scattered transmissions from the Avalon system. They're fragmented, but they don't match any human communication patterns." The crew gathered around the primary sensor display. The strange signals pulsed with an alien rhythm, unlike anything in human databases. Whatever was happening at Avalon 7, it wasn't a technical malfunction. When the Pathfinder finally emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Avalon system, an unnatural silence greeted them. The normal buzz of colony traffic, transport ships, orbital stations, communication buoys, was missing. "Scan for life signs," Taiwan ordered, his voice steady despite his racing heart. The results came back empty, where a vibrant colony should have been. Sensors detected only radiation spikes and thermal anomalies consistent with recent massive energy discharges. "Take us closer," he commanded. "Maintain stealth protocols." As the Pathfinder approached Avalon 7, the devastating truth became clear. The colony's main settlement, once home to over 1 million people, was now a blackened crater. Satellite cities had been reduced to scattered rubble. Agricultural zones were scorched wastelands. The orbital platforms were simply gone. "Sir," Juwoo's voice trembled slightly. "We're picking up an automated signal from a surviving weather satellite." The satellite had recorded everything. The crew watched in horror as the footage showed massive ships descending from orbit, vessels of unknown design, their hulls marked with strange symbols. The aliens had methodically destroyed every human structure, using weapons that reduced buildings to ash in seconds. Colony defense forces had attempted resistance, but their ships were swatted away like insects. "There's more," Doyun said quietly. The satellite captured them, placing something on the surface. The footage showed tall, insectoid creatures erecting monuments at the center of each destroyed settlement, territorial markers. The universal translator struggled with the alien script, but eventually produced a rough translation. "This system is claimed by the Doma Collective. All competing life forms have been cleansed." Taiwan's fists clenched as he watched 3 million lives being erased from existence. "Any survivors?" "Scanning emergency bunkers and outlying areas," Ju replied, her fingers flying over the sensor controls. Minutes passed in tense silence. "Nothing, sir." The attack was thorough. The captain stood motionless, processing the enormity of what they had witnessed. Then he straightened his shoulders and turned to his crew. "Document everything. Every detail matters. Earth needs to know exactly what happened here." For 3 days, the Pathfinder remained hidden at the edge of the system, gathering data. They captured images of the devastation, analyzed the radiation patterns, and recorded every scrap of information about the attackers. They found fragments of colony defense ships and recovered a partial database from a damaged communications relay. On the final day, their sensors detected movement. 3 alien vessels returned to the system, apparently conducting a survey of their handiwork. The Pathfinder retreated deeper into the shadow of a moon. They're scanning for survivors, Doyon whispered. Tadwan watched the alien ships with cold fury. They don't just want our worlds. They want us gone, completely erased. When the alien vessels finally departed, Tadwan gathered his crew on the bridge. We have everything we need. Set course for Earth, maximum speed. As the Pathfinder turned away from the graveyard that had once been humanity's most promising colony, Tadwan composed the message that would forever change human history. To Earth Defense Command. Avalon 7 has fallen. 3 million dead. Attacked without warning by alien force identifying as Doma Collective. No survivors. Sending complete data package. They believe us weak. They don't know what's coming. The Grand Council chamber had never been so silent. Admiral Junho Lee stood before 70 government representatives, his weathered face illuminated by the horrific footage from Avalon 7. The room was designed to hold 300 people, making the silence even more profound. No one spoke as they watched the systematic destruction of humanity's most distant colony. When the footage ended, Admiral Lee turned to face the council. 3 million lives, gone without warning or reason. President Hannah Kim rose slowly from her seat at the center of the assembly. At 73, she had led Earth's unified government for 11 years. Her eyes reflected both grief. How long have we known about this? She asked. The Pathfinder returned with this information 26 hours ago, Junho replied. We verified the data before bringing it to the council. Councillor Sorayun, representative from the Aegean Alliance, leaned forward. What do we know about these aliens? This Doma Collective. Junho activated another display showing intelligence reports. Very little until now. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected their activities at the edges of explored space. They appear to be expanding systematically through our sector of the galaxy. Expanding by extermination, added Defense Minister Taho Ba. His normally calm voice carried an edge of barely controlled anger. Our intelligence suggests they've eliminated at least 3 other species outposts in the past decade. They seem to view all other intelligent life as competition to be removed. The room erupted in voices until President Kim raised her hand for silence. Our options, Admiral Lee. Junho looked each council member in the eye before answering. We have 3 choices. First, we could attempt diplomatic contact, though their actions suggest they have no interest in coexistence. Second, we could fortify our remaining colonies and adopt a defensive posture. Third, he paused. Third, prompted the president, we activate the defense protocol. A murmur spread through the chamber. The defense protocol was the great secret of human space, a contingency plan created 2 centuries ago after humanity's bloody history of global conflict. Never again, the founders had vowed, would humans be unprepared for existential threats. Junho entered a series of commands into his secure terminal. A new hologram appeared, showing the full extent of human military power, assets hidden throughout 200 star systems. For generations, we've maintained the appearance of a peaceful, modestly armed civilization, Junho explained. But we never stopped preparing. Every colonial expedition, every mining operation, every research outpost has served dual purposes. The display showed military installations hidden beneath the surfaces of moons, inside asteroids, and concealed within gas giant atmospheres. 700,000 warships, he stated simply. The largest armada ever constructed by any. Minister of Colonial Affairs Ju Park looked stunned. How was this kept secret for so long? Compartmentalization, Defense Minister Bai replied. No single person or colony knows more than a fraction of the full capability. The complete defense protocol is known only to this council and key military commanders. President Kim studied the tactical display. And these ships are operational. Crewed. Yes, Madam President, Junho confirmed. Regular training rotations ensure readiness while maintaining secrecy. We can have the entire fleet mobilized within 14 days. The council chambers grew quiet again as the implications sank in. The Doma believe us weak, Juno continued. They attacked our colony expecting no significant response. Their intelligence on our capabilities is clearly flawed. An aide approached the president, whispering something in her ear. She nodded and addressed the council. We've just received word that 3 other border colonies have detected unknown ships in their vicinity. The Doma are likely assessing their next targets. Economic Counselor Donglin Kang raised his hand. If we reveal our military strength now, we expose a secret kept for 2 centuries. There's no going back. There's already no going back, Juno replied firmly. 3 million humans are dead. The Doma have made their intentions clear. President Kim walked slowly to the center of the chamber, her face resolute. We will not allow another colony to fall. Not one more human life will be taken without consequence. She turned to Juno. Admiral Lee, you are hereby authorized to execute the defense protocol in its entirety. How quickly can the fleet assemble at the staging point? The mobilization orders can be transmitted immediately. First response vessels will deploy within hours. The full armada will be combat-ready in 2 weeks. The president nodded. Then we vote. All in favor of full military response against the... Every hand in the chamber rose without hesitation. It's decided then, President Kim declared. Humanity has remained peaceful, not because we lack teeth, but because we chose restraint. The Doma mistook our patience for weakness. They will not make that mistake again. As the council adjourned, Admiral Lee transmitted the activation codes that would awaken humanity's sleeping giant. Across 200 star systems, hidden doors began to open. The mobilization codes traveled across human space in encrypted bursts, spreading like ripples through a still pond. Commander Haijin Ba stood on the observation deck of the Ta City mining facility, watching as the seemingly ordinary asteroid belt came alive. It's really happening, whispered her aide, Minho Kwan, as massive hangar doors slid open on dozens of asteroids that had concealed military installations for decades. Haijin nodded silently. In her 15 years of service, she had known about the hidden fleet, had even commanded training exercises with small portions of it. But she had never expected to see the full mobilization in her lifetime. Vessel activation proceeding at 97% efficiency, reported the station's eye. All crews responding to recall orders. Below them, the first wave of warships emerged from their hidden berths. Destroyers, cruisers, and support vessels moved into formation, their hulls gleaming as they caught the light of Ta City. Many had never seen actual combat, built and maintained across generations for a day everyone hoped would never come. The Doma have no idea what they've awakened, Minho said, checking the incoming reports on his tablet. Similar activations are happening across all human systems. Haijin's communicator chimed. Commander Bai, please report to Docking Bay 4. The Indomitable awaits your command. She took one last look at the growing armada before heading to the elevator. The Indomitable was a Vengeance-class destroyer, one of the newest ships in the fleet. For years, it had been disguised as a deep space research vessel, its weapon systems and true power hidden beneath civilian designations. As she walked through the corridors of the station, Haijin saw personnel rushing to their posts, their faces showing a mixture of determination and disbelief. Many had trained for this moment their entire careers, never truly expecting it would come. In Docking Bay 4, the Indomitable waited, its sleek hull now revealing the weapon systems that had been concealed for so long. A crew of 80 stood at attention as she approached. Ship ready for departure, Commander, reported First Officer Jin Su Kang with a crisp salute. Very good, Haijin replied. Let's join the fleet. Aboard the Indomitable, Haijin reviewed the intelligence reports from the front lines. The Doma had detected unusual activity in human space, but dramatically underestimated the scale. Their intelligence suggested perhaps 2,000 or 3,000 ships, a respectable force, but nothing that threatened the collective's military dominance. They still think we're just a colony species, Jinsu noted as they Their scouts have observed some of our outer defenses, but they haven't realized these are just the tip of the spear. The tactical display showed thousands of indicator lights converging on the staging point near Proxima Centauri. Each light represented a warship, and new ones appeared constantly as more vessels emerged from hiding. Update from Admiral Choi, announced Communications Officer Una Park. All ships are to prepare for synchronized jump to the staging area once local mobilization is complete. 12 hours later, the Ta-City fleet, nearly 30,000 vessels strong, was ready for departure. Haijin stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching as the armada formed up around them. All ships reporting ready, Commander, Jinsu said. Haijin nodded. Signal the fleet. Execute jump to Proxima Centauri. The space around Ta-City lit up as thousands of ships engaged their drives simultaneously, disappearing into the darkness of space. At Proxima Centauri, Admiral Minjin Choi observed the gathering storm from the command deck of Earth's largest military installation. Built inside the hollow core of a dead moon, the base had served as humanity's secret military headquarters for over a century. Ta-City fleet has arrived, sir, reported his tactical officer. That brings our current strength to 412,000 vessels. Minjin studied the massive holographic display showing fleets arriving from across human space. Each minute brought thousands more ships as humanity's full military might revealed itself. What's the status of the Doma border? He asked. Their forces are consolidating, sir. They've detected our movement and appear to be preparing for what they believe is a major human offensive. Minjin almost pitied them. The Doma were expecting a few thousand ships, perhaps the largest fleet they had ever encountered in their history of unchallenged expansion. They had no concept of what was coming. Sir, his aide interrupted, the final contingent from the Sirius sector has arrived. We've reached full mobilization. 700,000 warships are now at your command. The Admiral stood silent for a moment, taking in the scale of what for 2 centuries they had prepared, hidden their strength, and hoped it would never be needed. Now, the full might of human defensive capability had been unleashed. Send word to all fleet commanders, Minjin ordered. Final battle plans will be distributed in 6 hours. The Armada advances in 12. As the message spread across the assembled fleet, a single thought united the millions of humans who crewed the massive Armada. The Doma had awakened a sleeping giant, and they were about to learn the cost of their mistake. The leading edge of the human fleet arrived at the border of Doma space in perfect formation. 100,000 warships, just the vanguard of humanity's response, dropped out of hyperspace simultaneously, their hulls gleaming in the light of an unfamiliar sun. Admiral Sun Wuhan stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Retribution, watching the tactical display as his ships took position. At 58, Sun Wu had spent his entire career preparing for a conflict he had hoped would never come. Now, facing the species that had slaughtered millions of humans without warning, he felt nothing but cold resolve. Doma Defense Fleet detected, Admiral, reported Tactical Officer Juhu Ryu. 2,000 vessels moving to intercept from the inner system. Sun Wu studied the approaching alien formation. The Doma ships were impressive, heavily armed, and clearly designed for war. In normal circumstances, 2,000 battle-ready vessels would be an overwhelming force. But these were not normal circumstances. Maintain formation. Sun Wu ordered calmly. Let them come to us. On the main view screen, the Doma fleet grew larger as it approached. Their vessels were organic in appearance, with curved hulls that resembled the exoskeletons of the insectoid species that crewed them. Weapon ports dotted their surfaces, glowing with energy as they prepared for battle. Incoming transmission, reported Communications Officer Yuri Kang. The Doma are hailing us. Sun Wu straightened his uniform. On screen, the image of a Doma commander appeared. The alien was tall and insectoid, with compound eyes and mandibles that clicked as it spoke. Its exoskeleton gleamed with metallic implants that signified high rank. Unknown vessels, the translator converted the clicking speech into human language. You have entered sovereign collective territory. Identify yourselves immediately. Sun Wu stepped forward, his face betraying no emotion. This is Admiral Han of the United Earth Fleet. Your forces destroyed our colony at Avalon 7. We have come in response. The aliens' compound eyes seemed to narrow. Your outpost violated our expansion zone. The collective claims all systems within the designated sector. The mandibles clicked rapidly. Retreat now, or your species will face similar cleansing. You misunderstand, Sun Wu replied, his voice cold. This isn't a... Sun Wu turned to his bridge crew. All ships, initiate strike pattern Alpha. Show them what humanity can do. He cut the transmission and turned to his bridge crew. Send word to Admiral Choi. The Vanguard has engaged the enemy and cleared the border defenses. The path is open for the main fleet. As the remaining Doma ships fled deeper into their territory, the human Vanguard secured the system. Behind them, hyperspace lit up as the main body of Earth's armada. 600,000 more warships began to arrive. The message was clear. Humanity had come for vengeance, and it would not be denied. The full human armada arrived at the Doma homeworld 3 weeks after the first engagement. 700,000 vessels formed a sphere around the planet, so numerous they dimmed the light of the system's sun from the surface below. Grand Admiral Julian Ryu stood on the bridge of the flagship Vengeance, her small frame belying the immense power at her command. At 63, she had spent 40 years in Earth's defense forces, rising through the ranks while hoping she would never need to command in actual combat. Now, she led the largest military force ever assembled in known space. Status report, she said quietly. Strategic Officer Minho Quan gestured to the tactical display. The Doma have assembled their entire remaining fleet to defend their homeworld. 12,000 vessels in a defensive formation around the planet. Heavy weapon platforms in orbit. Ground-based cannons active and targeting. Julian studied the Doma defenses. Their homeworld was impressive. A large planet with 3 moons, each hosting military installations. Under other circumstances, it would be considered impregnable. And their population centers, she asked. 6 billion Doma on the homeworld, replied Science Officer Hannah Park. Another billion distributed across their 20 colony worlds. Julian felt the weight of the moment. The destruction of Avalon 7 had awakened humanity's full military might. Now, they held the fate of an entire species in their hands. Open a channel to their leadership, she ordered. The main screen flickered to life, showing the Doma High Council. 7 elder members of the species, their exoskeletons adorned with elaborate markings of status and achievement. They sat in a semicircle, mandibles clicking nervously as they faced the human admiral. I am Grand Admiral Ryu of the United Earth Fleet, Jian began. You know why we have come. The central Doma rose slightly. I am Supreme Leader Vex Thal of the Doma Collective. We recognize your impressive display of force. The collective is prepared to discuss terms. Terms, Jian repeated flatly. 3 weeks ago, your forces rejected all attempts at negotiation. The aliens' compound eyes reflected the light of the chamber. We underestimated your species' capabilities. A regrettable error. More than an error, you exterminated millions of our people without warning. You have done the same to at least 3 other spacefaring species in this sector. The Doma leader's mandibles clicked rapidly. The collective expands. It is our way. Lesser species make way for the greater. Murmurs of disgust spread across the Vengeance's bridge. Jian maintained her composure, but her eyes hardened. Look outside, Supreme Leader. Your sensors can count our numbers. We have surrounded your homeworld with 700,000 warships. Your entire fleet, 12,000 vessels, stands against us. She paused to let the numbers sink in. You call us a lesser species, yet here we stand, ready to end yours completely. The Doma Council members chittered among themselves in obvious distress. Finally, Vex Thal spoke again. What are your demands, human? First, Immediate and unconditional surrender of all Doma military forces. Second, you will pay reparations to Earth for the destruction of Avalon 7. Third, you will withdraw from the territories of all species you have attacked. The Supreme Leader's posture stiffened. And if we refuse? Jian's expression didn't change. Then we will do to your homeworld what you did to our colony. The difference is, we have the power to erase your entire species, not just an outpost. Silence fell over the communication channel. The Doma Council conferred in hushed clicks and whistles. Finally, Vexthal faced the human admiral again. The collective accepts your terms. One more condition, Jian added. You will build monuments on every world where you've committed genocide, including Avalon 7. These monuments will stand as eternal reminders of what happens when you attack humanity. The Doma leader's mandibles drooped in the species' expression of submission. He signaled to Yuri to cut the transmission. The Doma commander vanished from the screen. After the transmission ended, Jian turned to face her bridge crew. Maintain battle readiness. Trust is earned, not given. Admiral, said her aide, approaching with a data tablet. Message from Earth. President Kim wishes to know if the situation has been resolved. Jian looked out at the Doma homeworld, surrounded by the might of human vengeance. Tell her the Doma have surrendered. Earth's response has been educational for them. As the surrender terms spread across the galaxy, other spacefaring species took note. Humanity, quiet, seemingly peaceful humanity, possessed the most formidable military force ever assembled. The message was clear to all watching species. Humans build in silence, but when provoked, they arrive with overwhelming force. In the decades that followed, human ships patrolled the borders of former Doma space, ensuring the terms were honored. On Avalon 7, where 3 million humans had died, a new colony rose beside a towering monument built by Doma hands, a testament to humanity's resolve and the fatal mistake of those who had underestimated them. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Never mistake humanity's peace